that are overused and sometimes, or a lot of times, unnecessary. We've talked about hysterectomy, episiotomy. Now this one is about heart. It's called angioplasty. This is something a lot of people have had when they have coronary artery disease. They have, which means they have clogged arteries. They want to open it up. And angioplasty uses a balloon to open up the arteries and then place a wired cage, it's called stent, to leave it there to keep the artery open. It sounds great, and why not do more of it? Even though the study shows it's not any more superior than medical management, which means using medications. Why would it be that way? You know, from a mechanic point of view, this is a great procedure. But if you understand deep inside how heart attack happens, heart attack does not happen because of clogged arteries itself.
Happens because of the clots.
You're really good.
Hey.
It's usually the chemical reaction that causes additional blood clot that will actually fill up the whole lumen of the artery, causes a complete closure of the artery and blood supply to the muscle, to the heart muscle. That's when a heart attack happens. The cholesterol-looking plaque on the interior wall of the artery itself does not directly usually cause heart attacks. And if this is the case, and if you put something in the artery, think about it, it actually can make more damage and causes more chemical release.
Right.
So you get a benefit of opening up. At the same time, you have more risk of breaking the integrity of the buildup.
That makes total sense.
So, you know, it kind of takes the benefit out.
So unless it's an extreme case, which almost, I mean, under that logic would almost seem like angioplasty almost is never an option, but I'm sure there's times that it
You
would
know,
be.
why do you think we're overdoing those surgeries? I think a lot of it is our logistic system.
Because we can. If you can bill for it, you do it.
No, I mean, you get sued if you don't do everything.
That's what you're saying. Yeah. Very good point. A lot of us think it is just the greed of the doctors. Is that
it's not.
It's
They're forced.
Self-preservation of the
Right,
doctors.
right.
You know.
Right. You know, a lot of times you say, well, you could have done this and you didn't. And, you know, so medicine is not a exact science. It's really a art. So very few things are completely black and white. That's why the decision of surgery or not, a lot of times rests in your own hands. And when you had surgery, the common people will think, you know, usually you'll think it's better because it's expensive, it's the best way. And it may not be.
You know, if we go back to the way doctors were originally part of our society, that our job was to keep ourselves as individuals as healthy as possible, to eat as well as we can, to exercise as well as we can, to just try to be healthy as much as we can. Then we call the doctor in. If the doctor can't help us, we don't want to shoot him in the head. He just did everything he could. Nowadays, we're so entitled about it that if the doctor, even though we have eaten ourselves into the ground, even though we clogged our arteries in every way we can with bad eating and high cholesterol and things that would potentially kill us, if the doctor doesn't help us do all of that, then now we're pulling out our proverbial guns and wanting to shoot him in the head. And to me, if I agree that there's something wrong with our health system and that it's more expensive than it should be for the reasons that Dr. Lee is talking about.
We all contribute to it.
Yeah, we all contribute to it, And what I would have loved to see in the overhaul of Obamacare, or whatever you want to call that, is that if we could have been given a little bit more personal responsibility for taking care of our health, that
We can't.
it-
We're too
and-
busy.
Yeah, something like that. we as Americans have completely washed our hands of our own health, and we're hoping that's part of what the show is about, is for us to take control of our health again, to remain healthy, and also maybe reduce some of that
Exactly. I'm
pressure
glad
on
you
the system.
mentioned that. I would love our show to empower you.
Yes.
Yourself to take the actions, because if you think about it, we're sometimes less capable than animals in preserving our own health.
Mm-hmm. It's really true.
I mean, I was joking with a couple colleagues, you know, if you're like a dog and you're constipated, what do? You go eat grass.
Right. We do that.
What do? We
We
go to a
definitely.
doctor. We
Yeah.
don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. And we eat more things that make us more constipated.
We lose a lot of instinct or self-healing things. That's another thing. You know, I've said this before. The ancient knowledge that's passed down are, for the most part, ignored. A lot of herbal remedies, natural remedies are just put aside. And, you know, if you really look, now with the powerful internet, you can really find a lot of answers if you look.
It's really true. And if we could get one thing set aside, and I'll let Dr. Lee get right back on track here, and if we're not coming in to break, is that I remember being a young child all the way through to early teenage years, and hearing my grandparents and those around me talking about how and kudos to the doctors who they would just growl and complain about how the doctors put them on this certain diet plan. Oh, I have to eat like this because the doctor says I'm going to die if I don't, and things like that. And they were so angry at that doctor. And so first of all, now I become a little bit older and have realized what an amazing doctor that was actually recommending a good food regimen for, you know, good nutrition. Thank goodness for doctors like that back then. But also, what it did for me is it disempowered me as an individual, and I hated doctors too. I remember feeling a claustrophobic.
We don't have to be told
Yeah.
to do something.
And I felt claustrophobic that if a doctor ordered me to eat a certain way, that I would want to rip his head off. And that was programming that was done by my grandparents to me. And now we're even more that way as a society. So again, empowering ourselves. Now I find it fun to try to eat right and do things to...
That's because you did the study and you decided to do it on your own.
Yes.
Somebody told you to.
Yeah, very true. And also, Google did arrive on the scene since then. And I think if my grandparents had been able to Google what was going on, they could have been educated about it and realized this really is for my good. This isn't some overprotective doctor that's telling me to eat this stuff. And I think that their view was, if I eat this, it'll kill me. So I might as well eat the stuff that I like, because I'm going to die anyway. And that's not a good strategy either.
Right. So what do you do instead of going under the knife or going through the surgery for your heart conditions, not getting angioplasty if not necessary?
Mhm.
Well, first of all, it's like you said, take lifestyle change recommendations seriously.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. If a doctor is doing it, that means if he's giving you good ideas, that means A, it's a good doctor, and B, he wouldn't do it if it wasn't real, because
Right.
most doctors actually don't do that. So, I mean, they do, but it's in this cliff note. I mean, in the footnotes.
Right. So lifestyle change, same old.
Mhm.
Maintain ideal weight, eat low fat, healthy, high in vegetable,
Mhm.
and plant-based diet,
Mhm.
small amount of red meat, exercise.
Yeah.
You know, exercise is not just for weight loss, it's for just
health.
for the body,
Yeah.
for the body to function better. And take the right medications. And besides that, at the meantime, I really want to mention a couple of things. One is the healthy remedies we've talked about before. I want to kind of mention it again. Honey and cinnamon is really, really good for
Which
heart health.
tastes great
I
as
know.
well.
The
Yes.
thing about these healthy remedies are they're small, but they're good. Don't stop doing it because they're small. And also, don't expect magical
Sure.
from one dose. You need to take it for a good amount of time repeatedly. I would say a couple months, half a year. These are healthy, tasty things. And the remedy we gave in our earlier shows
Mm-hmm.
last year is the garlic, ginger, honey, lemon, apple cider vinegar combination. Remember that? For angioplasty, to open up arteries. If you have any questions, email me. I will be happy to provide you the recipe again. One last thing that I think is amazing is, besides your medication and pills and healthy remedies, acupuncture and herbal medicine can actually relieve pain from heart disease and help with the cardiac problems, even with rhythm problems, amazingly. So don't overlook that one, and combine that with all your other remedies. So when we come back, we're going to continue talking about the surgeries that you don't want to have, and what do you do instead of surgery. The next one we're going to talk about is about heartburn surgeries. So don't go too far away. We'll be right back. This is Dr. Tong Li at Ageless Living here at Voice America Word Talk Radio.
And this is Kurt Wilhelm. We'll be right back after the break.